What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Captain Deadwake here, your blue collar captain, showing you the Moth and really my first impressions after using it for a while. I'll probably do a follow-up video like I did with the Hermes, where we had our sort of first look, and then a good week plus into using the ship to give you my all-around thoughts. But as you can see behind us, we have got the nice black paint variant to the Moth. This is the Rockwell livery. On yesterday's live stream, you would have saw us running the Sundial, which is that nice sort of anodized orange and black combo. But I wanted to give this one a chance because I do like the straight up blacked out look. This is how my SRV is, and I've loved that as well. So this is the paint I'm going to run on it to see how it does with weathering over time, you know, using the hell out of it, see if it gets that same kind of Hermes effect, which I think would be pretty sweet. Now the outside for the most part is basically the mole, except for a few things like the cargo grids on the side that replace the mole mining bags and our nice pincers up front for breaking down those ships and pulling them in. We have the same big, beautiful VTOL engines. We have the turret set up on the sides as well as in the forward section that we're used to. These actually stack out pretty wide from an auto deploy standpoint over here. In fact, you can see where I've been hard at work with a lot of the construction materials I've been pulling off of ships that I've been breaking down at gateways or stations, which is pretty cool. The ship does have its limitations. I came up to a C2 and was disappointed when I wasn't able to actually fracture it. So you can't break down everything. I haven't seen other large ships like Caterpillars or Carracks and such, so I guess we'll see. Jumping to the inside, I think it's cool to note one of the changes that were made to this ship that aren't on the mole, which is the sort of blast protection doors or the vacuum seal doors, breach doors, whatever you want to call them. This is not how the mole looks. A lot of you guys know you're just kind of open to vacuum the second you open this door, which wouldn't be good for your life support systems or generally being on a ship. I think that the Moth is a bit more suited to having a proper pressurized inside and also preventing people from being able to get in your ship this way, because yes, you can do that in the mole. I've done it to get back in my ship when things were acting up. So it is nice to see that forward thinking, and I bet the mole, when it gets its gold pass, is going to have that and probably this wonderful cargo bay as well. You can already see my spoils from doing some salvage out and about. Pop quiz for you guys. Let me know your guesses in the comments. What is this the kit to? This is from one ship. I'm not going to give any other details. You can see what's here. This is everything that I pulled off of it, minus its quantum drive. I'm realizing I just forgot to grab its quantum drive. So, minus that. What is this the kit to? Let me know in the comments. It'd be fun to see you guys guess. So, I like that we have this spot to be able to store components for turning in for the new missions. The new missions are actually really cool because once you complete the first one, where you go find that ship and then you turn in that box of RMC, the missions after that are as follows. You go into the salvage tab and you have these sorts of things where it says deliver 5 SCR RMC, as well as some construction rubble pieces or salvage, or delivering parts like weapons, size 1 or 2, a mining head and a salvage head, size 0 stuff from ground vehicles. But what's sweet is when you do these missions, it doesn't give you a source material. It doesn't give you something to go find. It's just turn in. So if you're out and about doing your salvage thing, as you're approaching a station, you can check for missions that it wants. I actually did that on the way back here to Levski. I checked the mission amounts and it said, hey, can you turn in 5 RMC, 5 SCU of RMC? And I had that on my port cargo area. So I just accepted it, came in, went to the elevator, dropped it, mission complete, and got some rep. Honestly, I think that's really cool that you don't have to do a mission, go A to B, complete it, come back. It's part of that like adventure side of things where you could just be out doing your thing, you know, cleaning up the verse, going to gateways, Hathor sites, QV stations, executive hangars, whatever it is that you do for your primary salvage sourcing. You can then just bring that stuff and drop it off wherever you want to get that rep. And in taking a look at the rep, Adagio finally has its rep tree, which we saw on the live stream yesterday. And now we'll be able to see how it is to actually bust through this. I've only done 2 or 3 turn-ins, which is getting a pretty good amount of rep here, and I imagine that as you level this up, the turn-ins are probably going to be larger and larger components, or maybe more quantities of those. We're going to find that out too. This is less a video though on the new salvage missions and more an impressions video on the ARGO MOTH, which, they did some work to the audio on the engines, and man, it sounds good. I am glad that that missile pod actually gets blacked out too with the Rockwell livery, because in the little virtual thing when you're mobiGlas, it shows the missile pods are still orange. And I said, if that is the case, I am selling this paint. I'm turning this in. I'm not using it. But no, rest assured, you get a nice blacked out missile pod too. So this is cool. You can fly the ship currently from both seats. And I will say it is annoying that the pilot seat has a lot of the same problems the Hermes had with hijacking your permissions if you're in that left seat. So it's probably going to be some refining around pilot seat control, because I don't think that's how you're supposed to be able to do things. I mean, the flying part's fine. I'll go ahead and demonstrate that for you guys now. But the problem is when you got a buddy with you, like when I had Ruck or Captain Thistle with me, if they jumped in the seat while I was in mine, I would like lose pitch control. Like I couldn't steer the ship anymore, because I think it's giving permissions to the person on the right. But yeah, you can see we can also fly it from over here, which this part, again, like the Hermes, like the Zeus CL, I think having an actual co-pilot that could fly, if you want to hop up and hit the hopper for the ship or do some engineering work to fix the ship, it's awesome that your person on the right can fly the ship. I think that that's a good thing. I just hope they sort out the sort of hijacking of function when it comes to both of these people being in the seats. Now, we still have some issues in this ship, like with others, when you get back in the pilot seat after going out and sort of utinying the other ships, that all of your MFDs go black, and you have to reset the ship, turn it off and on again, and redistribute your power pips and all, which that's frustrating, but that's not this ship specific. That's just kind of something that's happening right now. Any issue consoles relevant to what's discussed will be down in the description, guys. Please go contribute to those if you can to help CIG identify and solve these problems. So, okay, quick initial pros and cons list with this ship. The things that I dislike, I'll start there and end on a good note with the things I like. The ladders grabbing you when you walk by. They were responsible for me getting a little crazy yesterday. No, I chose to do that. That was fun to do with the audience. I hope you guys enjoyed that live stream. Took a shot every time that damn ladder grabbed me in the forward section of the ship. So this is a critique I have just of ladders in general. I really think we should have an F key interact to actually get onto a ladder. That is the standard practice in pretty much any game I can think of outside of this, like the last Caretaker I just started playing as well. You can sort of auto grab that ladder, but there's an F key function to actually interact with it. A lot of other games too, whether it's, you know, Sea of Thieves or whatever else you can think of that has ladders. Usually you interact with the ladder to then go up it, and it's pretty seamless. You run up to the ladder and you're already hitting the interact button to grab it and go. So I don't think it would be a detriment. I think it would be a big help, because the auto ladder grabbing your character function, whether you're in the cat, the Asgard, the mole, the moth, ladders, man, ladders, oh boy. Again, that's not specific to the moth, but it is a critique that I would love to kind of normalize, so that maybe that can be thought about by the devs on the back end. I think a lot of us would really appreciate that. The other thing I don't like, and this is not intended, is the speed with which you actually scrape using the salvage heads on this ship. It's already confirmed. The issue console will be in the description as well, but there's like over 70 people that have confirmed, or that contributed. CIG knows about it. They're gonna fix that. I'm not worried about that at all. It's just an oops, you know, an uh-oh, that the salvage heads are like off by a decimal place and salvaging far too slow, regardless of the head you're using. So that'll be fixed. No worries. So again, I was a little disappointed that you're not able to actually fracture like the C2, the Hercules. And I even went into the C2 and I hit self-destruct on that thing to see if it would break up into enough pieces for me to actually fracture and pull it in. That didn't work. I was able to pull apart some of it. I was able to get like the wings and, you know, things that broke off, but the main body of the C2 was just too big. Now, I am all for ships having their limitations as to what you can break apart. You know, maybe something like a C2 or a Carrack, you know, that is reclaimer territory. Totally down with that. Totally down with that. I haven't seen if I can break apart, you know, Starfarers or Cats yet. We'll see in time as we're using the ship. Broken apart a few Asgards, some smaller ships for the missions, you know, the Titan Avengers and all. So, Avenger Titan, sorry. But as far as the upper echelon size, there is definitely a clear size or mass exceeding limit here. You also only have 32 SCU that you can have in the hopper at a time. And then you can pump out, you know, the 8s and all. I will say, though, that's not really a negative, because, I mean, I can hop out the seat, run back, tag that auto-eject, and then while I am actually disintegrating and pulling more in, it's spitting out enough 8s to actually give me room for that. So, not really a negative critique for me on the hopper count, but maybe some of you guys might think it is. Let me know down below. So that's really the end of my don't like list, or my cons list. I haven't had a whole lot of time with the ship yet, only about a day, so I'm sure there might be a couple of things that come up that maybe I can bring up later. But what I do like, honestly, is that it is an extension of the Mole, a ship that I've loved for years, that I've used for years. I'm used to how it is to fly around and, you know, have to park the ship and then hop out to run back here to jump into this forward head to go mining. So for somebody who's used to using the mole, and that goes for, you know, any of you guys, this is going to feel very much akin to that. So you'll have probably a lot of the same enjoyment and a lot of the same gripes that might come from the mole, except for the fact that now with the pilot seat, you either on the left have access to your guns and your claw, or on the right you have access to the missiles. And actually, let me check real quick if the right can also use the pinchers here, the claws, the hands. So no, co-pilot does not have access to anything but flying and missiles. So we can switch over to our Dominator missiles and fire those from this side. You don't have access to the missiles from the standard pilot seat. So it's cool. I like that you can fly in both seats, but each seat also has its permissions for what main task it can do, like the claw and main guns here, and then the missiles and flying here. Of course, you have your awesome sort of storage garage door looking slots to get to your components. And I think this is a really good example of what it'll be like for the mole when it comes out. This is likely what you'll see. And of course, you can't interact with these size 3s outside of repair, which I'm not carrying the right item right now. So you know what, I will throw this in our gun rack, which is back here. Now this is cool. This I mentioned on the live stream, I think is an example of how the new inventory system is separating firearms from utility and tools, because you'll notice up here, these are your multi-tool slots that are a little bit bigger, and then you have your handgun slots that'll probably fit your med gun as well. You have your 2 firearm spots here, and then you have a dedicated utility tab here where you can put your SRT or tractor rifle. So it is an echo of the way they're changing their approach to how they classify weapons versus tools with the new inventory system coming out. That's something I noticed in the Evo testing. So I don't know, let me know what you guys think of that. We only got 1 slot here for our utility or like sort of repair tractor side, which honestly, this is where I'm going to stash my SRT rifle when I'm not using it. It's perfect for that slot. Looking at the components, even though you can't interact with these because everything on the Moth and Mole, they're size 3 except the quantum drive. The quantum drive is the only thing that's size 2. Kind of a bummer. I would love to be able to put a TS2 on this thing since everything else is so big. But you can see that you will be able to repair, interact with these to fix them. Well, we got one more component here. We got our nice big Blizzard cooler. Nope, sorry, that's our JS500 power plant. I'm stupid. Here's our Blizzard cooler. And then on this other side, we have our Hemera quantum drive and our jump module. So interact with all these, full gold pass, which is awesome. I love that. Let's go ahead and put our SRT rifle away. Then we'll use the close all function on the main door. I'm gonna grab my gun back and equip it. And just to show this off, you can't put these here, just like in the Hermes, how you had that bottom piece, but you do have a dedicated multi-tool slot on the left and right side. So you could do like a tractor and a healing, or a repair and a healing, or a repair and a tractor. It's however you guys want to mix it up. Now, heads up, this is going to be bright, but I wanted you guys to see and confirm that we do, in fact, have lamp. This is obviously going to be for much darker situations, like around Pyro and in some parts of Stanton, but lamp is fully functional as you'd expect since it is on the Mole as well. Maneuverability is pretty good. It's about what you would expect a ship of this size. Again, very similar to flying around the Mole, and of course, you have that wonderful toggle between VTOL and your main forward engines. With that revamped engine sound, I will say, I can't wait for the Mole to get this treatment, to get this love. It's going to be a good day. I think I've just about run out of things to say about this ship for now for this first look video. On the side, we got our construction materials, which is a lot easier to get a hold of than the current RMC, just until they fix that speed with which you can pull it apart. But honestly, aside from turn-in, RMC doesn't carry a whole lot of value. The construction material is honestly where it's at, both in profit and just overall experience in the ship, since you can do that from the pilot seat, which is really cool. One thing that is really nice about this, since we actually have a dedicated cargo bay here, I could absolutely throw like an ATLS Geo, or a regular ATLS if you want to do that, but actually, you know, an ATLS Geo and like a 2 SCU box, and go out and do ground mining, hand mining, vehicle mining as well with this thing, kind of paying homage to a little bit to the Mole. And another reason I look forward to a future iteration of the Mole having these changes, because boom, dude, you could be out doing rock mining on asteroids, or planets or moons, I should say, for this example. And then if you find an awesome deposit of rocks that you want to go hand mine, then you have your freaking ATLS Geo inside your Mole, drop this sucker down, and go do your hand mining to turn in for those missions, or just to collect it for money. You know, so I really, really, really hope that because the Moth is done, that maybe soon the Mole gets its pass, and I don't know if it'll be Mark II or Gold Pass to be able to get all the changes the Moth has, but man, I really hope that's their plan, because you could really do like a total mining approach in the Mole, utilizing this awesome cargo bay in the back with that sort of combo. But even in the Moth, I'll probably do the same just to be able to tackle more while I'm out and about. You know, we might have ships that we can salvage, and then not too far away there's a deposit of Fenmaline or Hadnite or something, so I could go take care of that too. I don't know, we'll see. I might have this, you know, full of components for running around the verse turning stuff in, so I don't know how practical it'll be to really be carrying the Geo with me. I also, given the size of this ship, I don't see personally a reason to really carry around the ATLS unless you just really want to, and that's totally cool. The last positive note I guess I'll give is the location of the engineering terminal being right here outside of the cockpit, which is really cool. And also, you know, pro tip for anybody who gets the annoying sort of beeping like something's wrong. Oh damn, our cooling system's actually overworking right now. Interesting. Let me put some more power to it. We're gonna kill a little bit of this power here, throw that power into our cooling, bring this down. It is still overworking, which is kind of crazy, really. Let's bring this down a bit more. Yeah, I guess the cooling system's just working harder on this ship, even with cooling to maximum, so that's interesting. Might need to actually look at putting in more of an industrial cooler. I don't know if this military cooler is doing the work. Oh, there it goes. Okay, so I don't know if maybe that was just, it was lagging out, but no, we're good. We're good. We're all clear. Want to return power to engines. Shields are fine. Yeah, we're good. All right. She's happy. But yeah, I think that'll about wrap it up, guys. Let me know what you guys think of the Moth, if you've gotten a lot of time with it, or just your general first impressions, what you think of the ship, if you like, dislike it, if it's your cup of tea for doing some solo salvage. It definitely is mine. This is definitely gonna be my like full-time Utini vessel, dude. I'm gonna be out and about doing all kinds of stuff with this, and there will be a follow-up review giving my honest thoughts after about a week or so's use in this thing, so look out for that. Until then, guys, I will catch you out in the verse. Take care.